1961. But here we are, the heroes of motorsport in the early 1950s for Jaguar. It was the moment when the world sat up and noticed Jaguar as in motorsport. Starting in 1954 when the C-Type had its very last season in competition. Then in 1950, Austin-Healey. Now, Jaguar really were unnerved in motorsport. They returned in 1956 after Hawthorne took the win in 55. But after 1956, Jaguar themselves, the works team, had withdrawn, but they did give big support to Ecurie Ecosse, who were a privateer that ran in these iconic colours, the metallic blue that you see here. So he's letting you loose on it, throwing up Kop Hill just like Duncan Hamilton would have done at Le Mans. It's not quite the Mulsanne straight, but she's going to take it with just as much enthusiasm. Ladies and gentlemen, Jaguars in motorsport, that wonderful C-Type. A very, very rare car. It is the Triumph Italia taking to Kop Hill Climb in 2022.
With the Mk.II. Also, of course, it did very well on the Alpine rallies of the day. With a very famous car, number 120 was its number plate, with a man called Elliott at the wheel. This perfect example of that Mk.II. Released in 1948, the motor show to unveil the XK engine to the world, which was the masterpiece of William Hayes, who had been poached from another car company, and of course, that gave rise to those wonderful C&D type races that we saw earlier on today here on the hill. So no trouble with our places. That must be sort of those stuff. You jump through there, fires up to the left-hand kick here at Kop Hill Climb. Lovely to see that sabre really representing the 1960s now. American-derived V8 engine, 260 cubes underneath the bonnet of this. Designed by the Takes to Kop Hill Climb. And we go to a slightly more cuter, slightly more sedate Abingdon in Austin. End of the midget line. A line that ran all the way from 1960 to 1981. And great player. He goes back to two wheels now with the amazing motorcycle team. Okay, on the line, so for 185, it's Neil Lane with his Indian.
Well, this is our wonderful little celebration of the history of Jaguar in motorsport. This starting with the Jaguar C-Type that began the motorsport prowess really of Jaguar through the 1950s, and its first victory at Le Mans in 1951 with the drive of Peter Walker and Peter Whitehead. In 1951, of course, Sterling Moss also driving the Jaguar, but this car actually looking like there's got a bit of damage on the front wing there, so I'm going to have to ask the lady in the wheel whether she's been dicing with the Ferraris again, and is it the Ferraris or the Mercedes you've been dicing with to get that bit of damage? Yeah, I'm just saying to you that you've been reenacting Le Mans itself, and you've been bumping a few Ferraris off. So 1952, the year after the C-Type arrived on the motorsport scene, was a terrible year for it. All sorts of overheating problems, but they got it right for 1953. That year, Duncan Hamilton and Tony Rolls took the C-Types to victory. This is a wonderful example of the Jaguar C-Type. At the wheel, we currently have someone who is chanting their inner Duncan Hamilton, I believe. This is the Proteus C-Type Evocation with Natalie Gafford at the wheel. With that lovely 3.4 litre XK engine in front of her there. And the Proteus Evocations of the C-Types are not a genuine car, that one, but they use parts that were put together in Coventry and then assembled in Headley. There's another beautiful Jaguar C-Type here with those period Dunlop wheels, which I love so much. Tell us a little bit about this car.
Hi, this is a replica C-Type built over 2.5 years, late feature. It's been great fun to do, and as well worth driving actually a new car.
Lovely. Well, if you're going to build one, build a C-Type, why not? And the road cars using, of course, other Jaguar parts to recreate that Jaguar C-Type experience. But of course, the C-Types gave way eventually to this, the Jaguar D-Type, that wonderful finned racing car that first of all happened. It was full of tragedy at Le Mans, of course. Over 80 spectators died when the end of the car crashed into the clouds. The engine caused all sorts of damage. One sort of car that could deliver. That is definitely not how your dad's console went, is it?
Classic.
Now this is where it ended. As I mentioned, the XJS arrived in the mid-70s. This was the last of one of our wonderful cars here that's joined us on the hill for the first time this weekend. This wonderful Cortina, the GT Cortina, with a monstrously huge exhaust pipe, of course, the Cortina campaign. That is very something very special. is a Chevelle. It is in red, so are we ready to crash through some cardboard boxes? This is a wonderful car, isn't it? Tell us a story. Brilliant. California to Kop Hill Climb. As it glides on the tyres, it takes the Chevelle to the top of the hill. TVR Tamar from Blackpool there. And of course behind it is the last of the Triumph TR9, the TR8. Left-hand drive this one, so I'm guessing that this is a genuine TR8, not the TR7 that's converted, right? Absolutely, that's the giveaway. You used to put that left-hand drive, and it's the side that is a genuine fraction of the TR8, and it is. And of course, over 3,500 built for the inevitable open opportunity here in the UK. People have since TR7s. Motorsport competing in the late 1970s. There's that Chevrolet Corvette, the Stingray from 1974, and Steve Rockingham returns. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a genuine World Rally Championship car. It competed for Poland in the World Rally Championship in the mid-1990s. And we say hello to Steve Rockingham, who's bringing a number of cars to the show. This is one of the that's it, a genuine Subaru Impreza from the World Rally Championship raced by the Polish team. Down there, it's all smouldering now. That's what we like to see. As the Mini with its naked engine bay takes off on the start line. Twin Weber carburetors powering that Mini engine up the hill.
Yeah, the Healy 3000 on the start line now with sparkling very sparkling being. Celebrating MG digits with the roll bar. The Defender in front of me now is a peculiar.
This was once a Land Rover Defender, I do believe, but it's grown a bit since then, and it is now going to compete in the Moroccan Desert Challenge, which is an extreme rallying competition, a little bit like the Paris-Dakar, but this is the sort of vehicles they compete in, and they will be flattening sand dunes throughout the Moroccan desert with that amazing 5-litre V8 power.
And the first Mk.II, Jaguar Mk.II on the start line this afternoon.
I did remark earlier on that we hadn't had a Jaguar saloon all day, and now we have one, the Jaguar Mk.II of the early 1960s. Of course, there was a Mk.I before it, and this was a fantastic moment for Jaguar, where it started to combine its performance and motorsport heritage with its ability to build sports saloons. And talking of sports saloons, we have the first ever multi-valve engine in a British car. It is the Triumph Dolomite Sprint with that lovely vinyl roof, Mk.II yellow paintwork. And I mentioned about the BMW 2002 that we had earlier on. This was Triumph's answer to that increasing pressure on the market at the time for sports saloons. This was really the start of the precursor to the hop hatch revolution of the 1980s, but the Dolomite Sprint also very successful in motorsport as well, both in rallying and in British touring cars.
Now look at the lines of that Nancy Antonio just coming up to the starting line. That's a big sexy body there. What do you think?
Gorgeous, that is, the Lancia Flavia, just showing us a bit of Italian elegance here on the start line for Kop Hill 2022. And this car from the early part of the 1960s.
I think this is an 1860 version.
1.8 litre. And off the hill it goes. As we
Something straight to the start line now.
wonderful Sunbeam Alpine. From Coventry, built by the Roots Group in Brighton on Dunsmore. Near to where the Jaguar Classic factory lives to the start line for us. An example of how Lotus started to team up with other manufacturers to tune their engines and their cars. And we'll see what happened when they teamed up with Vauxhall a little bit later on.
Thank you, Miss Willie.
The car behind it also only out with a Mk.II Coupe from 1970-ish. 1970, is that correct? Yeah, 1970. And they call it a 2+2, but if you ever get close to this car and have a look, it does have seat belts in the back, but I think it'd outgrow it about age 8. Not a lot of leg room in there. Certainly wouldn't fit me in the back seats of the +2. And so I mentioned how Lotus teamed up with other car makers to tune their vehicles and, well, make monsters really. They did it with the Ford Cortinas in the 1960s. They did it again in the late 80s and 1990s. It's from the middle of the 1990s, the Lotus Carlton. Great example of how Vauxhall and Lotus had a real close, almost symbiotic partnership throughout this period. They also worked together on a sports car that was based on the next vehicle, the Elise of course as well. The VX220 was very much a Lotus Elise underneath. Another example of how Vauxhall and Lotus worked very closely together during this period in time. Wonderful Golf livery on this car. The commemorative version released around 10 years ago now. For the last anniversary, I believe. Lotus Elise there, and an earlier Lotus Elise following it onto the hill very shortly as well.
And there's an Abarth in front of me now with the 6. Sept position engine there, over the rear wheels.
He's at the box.
Dark green. Very smart. I don't know how many of these Any ideas
Not many at all. Liege, of course, as well, that was based on a similar platform and a similar ethos. So there we are, the 70-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, of Lotus this year. Let's put our hands together for a great British manufacturer in Lotus. Now then, let's fire up the Quattro, as Gene Hunt would say. Those of you who enjoyed that TV series will know that that was what made the Audi Quattro far more famous than it ever had been before, and it didn't really need any help because of course it made its name in Group B round in the 1980s when Audi pioneered all-wheel drive with their Quattro system, going right back to the early days of the Ferguson P99 that Tony Robb designed, the early four-wheel drive Formula 1 cars. In fact, Stuart Robb, Tony Robb's son, recently told me in an interview that they came to him, Audi did, to have advice on their Quattro system. And speaking of four-wheel drive, we've just figured out that this is four-wheel drive as well, because the marshal here told me that it spun all four of its wheels the last time it got going. This is the Dax Rush, ladies and gentlemen, all-wheel drive. So let's see how it takes to Kop Hill Climb here. the 1990s. Very few of these made. The world got very excited when AC returned as a badge on a sports car once again, but of course, as with all British manufacturers, it's difficult to make the books balance, but while it lasted, this was a very beautiful and very unique car indeed. I seem to remember it being launched, I seem to remember having a poster of it on my bedroom wall at the time. Takes me back to the motor show days when the motor show used to be at Earl's Court, and you used to be able to see really interesting cars like this AC here on the start line at Kop Hill. Another very well car for us again. And of course another anniversary this year, half a century since the BMW M1. And BMW using the M Sport name.
Aerial Atom, and that's going to speed up the hill there.
So well done for winning that raffle for his passenger ride in the Aerial Atom. What a brilliant experience. Put a few quid in a hat, win a raffle, and here you are. Takes to the hill. And this, the Aventador SV from Lamborghini. Let's find out what he's packing in there. It is a V12, isn't it, sir? What sort of power are we talking? 740 brake horsepower, ladies and gentlemen. It's so much I can barely get my head around it. From the V12 here, the Lamborghini Aventador SV, with that striking green colour, probably one of the most angriest looking cars ever made. It's got angles and sharp edges on it everywhere. And it's about to take to the hill climb now. And it punches off the start line. He has to brake for the left-hand kick, such as the speed he's already had to when he heads up the hill. And now we have another bit of rallying history from Ford from the mid-1970s, the Escort Mexico, of course. So successful in the rally championship of its day. The likes of Harry Vanden and others making their name rallying escorts back then. And now taken to Kop Hill Climb. And here we have one of our Ferraris, the 308 GTB in a striking yellow colour. Great to see so many Ferraris assembled here at Kop Hill Climb, because another celebration this year, 75 years since Ferrari began. And very recently I got up close and personal with the very first ever Ferrari built, so it was a real privilege to see where it all began in the 1940s full Ferrari. This sat on the start line at the moment from the 1980s, the 308 GTB. With that engine behind the driver. This has to be one of the most gorgeous cars here on the hill this weekend. From 1962, it is Alan Cosby at the wheel of this Chip 50. The SWB, of course, as the number plate tells me, in that lovely yellow colour. A genuine car, this. Bit of Ferrari history on the hill climb here at Kop Hill, and a wonderful, magnificently beautiful car for us to all enjoy, and it sounds as good as it looks as well, as we're about to find out. Sounding good. This then, from 1964, the 250 TR.
I cannot, yeah.
Lining up on the hill now. At the wheel is Alan, it's Alan Cosby's car actually. Let's find out who is it. Well, it's all very confusing because you've got like 3 cars against the name. This is David Barker, but it is Alan's car, is it?
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to get home for him.
But he must be the luckiest friend he has.
Yes, indeed. I think I am, yeah.
Wonderful, well done. This is a very special car to have here at Kop Hill Climb. 1964 250 TR, owned by Alan Cosby. And it's not hanging around as it takes to the hill here at Kop Hill Climb. And more V12 Ferrari goodness coming up the hill now. Look at this, a bit of a bounce. Hello, is it comfy in there, first of all? It's always been better when you go anywhere in a Ferrari, isn't it? Well, I've told him to make sure he scares you and to go as fast as he possibly can. Do you promise to do that? Excellent. Make a load of noise for us all to enjoy then. Ferrari V12. And there he goes, taking to the hill. Here at Kop Hill Climb. And here we have the best musician in the world, because you have a brilliant taste in cars. Hello. Tell us what you do for a living.
I play ukulele and guitar in various bands. It's good fun.
Very good. And obviously he's very good at playing ukulele and guitar, isn't he? Tell us your name.
My name's Gary. I'm available for weddings, concerts, and corporate events.
Gary, I don't think we can afford you, mate. I'm just getting that feeling. Quickly tell us about the car.
It's a Ferrari 360 Spider. It's just amazing. It's wonderful. V8, 400 horsepower.
Wow, Gary, unleash the V8 when the flag drops. Take it up. I've just decided I'm going to learn to play the ukulele. It's my mission in life. Now, of course, if you wanted to own a Ferrari and you needed to put people in back seats, and this is a car that was useful to own. A wonderful example of Ferrari, slightly different departure in the 1970s. Very popular cars because they are incredibly practical to use. They gave that pin-for-ear design. Looking wonderful as it takes the hill climb. Now, the genuine Le Mans car, ladies and gentlemen, from 1973. This is the Ferrari Daytona, and this car genuinely competed at Le Mans in 1973 in the GT classes. And of course, this car would have been on track at the same time as iconic other race cars like the Golden Porsches of the day. The Ferrari Daytona, a gorgeous looking car, striking design, and it's great to have a genuine race on the hill. Sounding awesome as well, up the incline here at Kop Hill, round the left-hand kink, and next we have the, there it is, of course that's sold under the Holden brand elsewhere in the world, but here in the UK it was the Vauxhall Monaro VXR with the 6-litre V8. And we're back now to two wheels and motorcycles. Motorcycles from across the ages here with us at Kop Hill Climb. And ladies and gentlemen, gather round, come and join us because this is the last two cars we have going up the hill for 2022. It's been an absolute privilege to be with you here, commentators, the last couple of days. Thank you so much for all of your support that you have shown to this amazing event that is Kop Hill Climb. And of course for all the money that you have raised, not only just this weekend, but over the last 12 years here at Kop Hill Climb. A massive thank you as well to Peter Card, my co-commentator here. And for me, Wayne Scott, all I have to do is ask you for one last favour, and that is to decide what is the most impressive of our final two cars of the hill.
Now wait, I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to stop you there. Because ladies and gentlemen, I'm really quite distraught at the fact that we've now done this twice and the Ferrari's not. So I want everybody here to scream for the Ferrari, okay?
No, I'm not letting you have that, Peter, because over here on Team McLaren, we're going to make sure that we do it for the Brits.
So I'm saying, after Carl sets off the line now, shout for the Ferrari! Hooray! Very loud, very loud, there we go.
It is, of course, the F90 Fiorano Spider, but this, ladies and gentlemen, come on, is a prototype McLaren. It is the Speedtail. It is the future of McLaren sports cars. It is one of the most wackiest looking designs in the automotive world at the moment. And the best thing is, it's British. And we're going to see it go on the hill now. Very lucky to see this car here. Brilliant to have it close the course for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, when the flag drops, let's just show Peter and his Ferrari boys how loud we can scream on Team McLaren. McLaren Speedtail winning himself. Lucas just said I can buy for $3.5 million, so that's great. So, ladies and gentlemen, will it be the McLaren?
Or will it be the Ferrari? Yes! I think the Ferrari won.
Well, I'll give you that only because McLaren won every other single heat that we have here this weekend. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for us for 2022 here on the Hill Climb from Peter Carr. Thank you very much, Peter Carr. Been an amazing commentator all day. And for me, Wayne Scott, thank you very much for sitting home. And being here next year, we'll do it all over again.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you very much for excellent commentating over the weekend.